All right. I think my mic is working. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. If anyone in the chat can hear me, just push 1. Once we get the confirmation, we can fire this up. All right, thank you for the confirmation and welcome to Nyla Says. Welcome back to the Black Brain Trust. This is episode 377. Please hit the like button as you come in, share the video if possible. Also hit that notification bell so you get all the updates from the Black Brain Trust, including those posted on the community tab. If you want to engage in the discussion, we will have a link in the chat. Once you click on the link, make sure you raise your hand so one of us can acknowledge you and advance you to the panel. If you don't raise your hand, you're going to be sitting there for quite some time alone. I know some people are looking at the title and saying this the Thai City edition, but Ty wanted that smoke. So what we decided, man, at least I decided I was gonna throw that JPEG up there and let him deal with it. That's kind of his steez anyways. But yeah, let me get into it because I don't want to waste a whole lot of time. New Jersey profit, you know what? It's not really that big of a deal that the Tesla truck can pull that F-150. And here's why. That thing has so much torque, it can pull a freight train. You understand what I'm saying? It can pull, well, not a freight train, but it can pull the carts, right? So it can pull a cart by itself. A cart for a freight train is probably anywhere between 7 to 15 tons empty. So I'm not surprised that it can pull a 5,000 pound truck. It's not that big of a deal. So I'm not impressed by that. I'd be more impressed by the reliability. And that truck's not going to be cheap. Yeah, that truck's not going to be cheap. So for the new listeners and watchers, what we do on Black Car Talk is we just do things that guys do, men do. We basically just chop up game about cars of our liking and things that are happening in the news. So in terms of vehicles, this is our non-conscious talk. This is where we basically decompress. So all right, we got Thai City on the panel, man. What it do, fam?
What's going on? Let's get it.
What's going on, Truth?
Hey.
Yo.
Man, Thai City stamps out the Cybertruck already. What's good?
Yeah, man.
Hey. Hey, the trollage, bro. The trollage, dog.
But it's real, though. It's real, right? It's authentic.
Yeah, I said, hey, you know what? I said, damn, man. I can see that. Hey, it don't look too bad. I'm telling you.
Here he go, man. Here he go. Here he go, man. This dude.
I wouldn't have did the Supreme sticker though.
What else you gonna put on there? Fat Lace?
Nah, nah. Coca-Cola library.
Oh man, here you go. Oh man, I was gonna do the tire lettering on it too, but
Well, so you might as well get you a NASCAR jacket. I said you gonna get you a NASCAR jacket to go with it.
Hey man, hey, I might dig something up.
oh man, here you go. Yo, let me get to these articles real quick. All right, the first item on the docket is from CNN.com. GM president, electric cars won't go mainstream until we fix these problems. Let me explain this out. The automotive industry is hurtling toward a future that will change transportation the same way electricity changed how we light the world. Electric and self-driving vehicles will alter the automotive landscape forever. It's only a question of how soon. Like any revolution, this one will be created by market demand. Beyond the environmental benefit, electric vehicles owners enjoy the performance, quiet operation, robust acceleration, style and interior, and space. And EV owners like not having to buy gasoline. We believe the majority of these customers will stay loyal to electric cars. But what about the non-EV owners? Will they want to buy electric? About 25 years ago, when we first considered getting into the electric vehicle business with a small car that had about 70 miles of range, the answer was no. But today, the results are far more encouraging. We recently held consumer clinics in Los Angeles and Chicago and presented people with 6 SUV choices, 3 gasoline, 3 electric. When we asked for their first choice to purchase, 40% of the Chicago respondents chose an electric SUV, and 45% in LA did the same. This is despite a several $1,000 premium on the price of the electric models, but also before crucial government tax credits that we believe will continue to drive people toward electric vehicles and help fuel market demand. They had concerns, to be sure. Most people said they want vehicles that can match gasoline-powered vehicles in range, ease of ownership, and cost. The sooner we can break down these 3 critical barriers, the sooner electric cars will become mainstream. Range is the single biggest barrier to EV acceptance, just as demand for gas mileage doesn't go down when there are more gas stations. Demand for better range won't ease even as charging infrastructure improves. People will still want to drive as long as possible between charges. Most consumers surveyed during our clinic said they want at least 300 miles of range. And if you look at the market today, which is driven by early adapters, the numbers bear that out. The vast majority of electric vehicles sold, almost 90%, are 6 models with the highest range of 238 miles or more. 3 Tesla models, the Chevy Bolt EV, the Hyundai Kona, and the Kia Niro, according to IHS market data. Lithium-ion batteries, which power virtually all electric cars on the road today, are rapidly improving, increasing range with each generation. At GM, we recently announced that our 2020 Chevrolet Bolt EV will have a range of 259 miles, a 21-mile improvement over the previous model. Range will continue to improve across the industry, and range anxiety will dissipate. Our research also shows that among those who have considered buying an electric vehicle but haven't, the lack of charging stations is the #1 reason why. For EVs to gain widespread acceptance, manufacturers, charging companies, industry groups, and governments at all levels must work together to make public charging available in as many locations as possible. For example, we are seeing increased partnership activity between manufacturers and charging station companies, as well as construction companies that build large infrastructure projects, with the goal of adding thousands of additional public charging stations in the United States. Private charging stations are just as important. Nearly 80% of electric vehicle owners charge their vehicles at home and almost 15% at work, with the rest of public stations, our research shows. Therefore, continuing to make charging easy and seamless is vital. To that end, more partnerships with companies that will install chargers in consumers' homes conveniently and affordably will be a boom for both buyers and sellers. I'm not going to get into too much of this. I think the rest of it is just fluff. But yeah, we talked about this last week. You need more infrastructure. There's a lot of opportunity for Black people to get into the EV game through the infrastructure piece. A lot of your gas stations and stuff like that that shut down during like 2008 that couldn't weather the storm of the economic crash eventually will be blighted or cited as blighted by the city. That gives a lot of opportunity for Black people to actually get involved in the EV market from an infrastructure standpoint. Infrastructure is going to be a lot more important than the manufacturing of the vehicle, if not just as important as the manufacturing of a vehicle. So you factor in these e-scooters, e-bikes, and these other vehicles, from micro transportation to full scale transportation. That's going to be very vital. It's a matter of how much are you willing to invest into this? Anybody else have any thoughts on it?
Yeah. I think the infrastructure is going to be vitally important.
Trish, you might break a whole lot, man.
Progress because we.
Ty City, got anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think a lot of these concerns would not might come through like solar solutions on the actual car. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I've been reevaluating how I thought about range. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just as for me, right? I think on my day-to-day commute, I might drive 9 miles to work and then 9 miles back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's something on board that's charging the car while it's parked, you know what I'm saying? I may not have to charge it that much.
Mm-hmm.
Unless we're going like a long trip or something.
The thing is, that's not the roof of a vehicle is not a whole lot of space for a solar panel, right? So, and you have to bank on the idea that it's going to be sunny every single day. A lot of places in the northeast and the northwest, especially in places like Seattle, you don't get 7 days of sun. So you might get, 1/3 of your week might be sunny, and then another third of your week might be overcast. And that, that kind of nullifies the whole purpose of having a solar power roof.
Hey, what's going on, Mike? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you fine.
Yeah, I just had some issues with connectivity. Yeah, I do second that notion. I'm up here in Seattle, and there's entire weeks where there's no sun at all. So the onboard charging is going to be kind of an issue in respect to, I believe, Hyundai is trying to bring into production a vehicle with a roof solar panels. At any rate, I do second that notion about the actual infrastructure being a vital part of electrification, especially since the trajectory of electrification may be vastly different from that of internal combustion engine automobiles, because one of the things that really affects traditional combustion engine vehicles is emission standards. And with some of the European countries wanting to remove those vehicles off the road because of their emissions, as we move forward, electrification vehicles don't put out any emissions. And so, you may have a lifespan of, 40, 50 years on a vehicle. Like a person may be able to buy a vehicle and then just at some point in time just replace the actual battery components of the vehicle and just continue to drive that vehicle into perpetuity. That's a very real possibility. Also, when we talk about the actual range anxiety that you speak of, one of the issues I believe is that with a traditional combustion engine, people can wait to the last minute. They can wait till the gas light comes on, and they'll know they'll be able to find the gas station relatively quickly. But with an electric vehicle at the moment, you have to kind of plan out your trip, because if you're in a position where you're not paying attention to your gauge, you could be in real trouble, especially with the increased weight of these electric vehicles. You may have a hard time pushing it. Also, when we talk about the actual combustion engine consumption of fuel, from my perception, is relatively linear. Whereas the electric, say for instance, one of my electric components, like my phone or my electric toothbrush, for instance, there's like a point where it seems there's a logarithmic increase in power usage, because like I'll be at 20%, and then the rate, the speed at which I go from, say for instance, 20% to say 10% is significantly faster than 30 to 20. It seems like that. I don't know if that's the same with you guys, but like once I hit 20%, it's like I could literally watch my percentage of my battery go down. And so I think that's where the actual infrastructure comes into play, because I think we had talked about this previously. The electric equivalent of a gas can. That's something that I think will be, even if it has marginal range on it, just that actual peace of mind that it will give people, knowing that, hey, if my battery runs out, I got some way to actually charge my vehicle, even if there's a weight penalty for carrying that thing around.
Well, I think that the only way you'd be able to do something like that is with graphene material. So, because it's so much lighter and so much smaller, you'll be able to make something like that work. As it stands right now, you wouldn't be able to make something like that work without it being so heavy. It'd be heavy like 100 pounds, a duffel bag or something, just be ridiculously heavy. So, go ahead, Ty.
I like that. I like the idea of the wireless charging lane. That y'all said China has something like that already.
The highways are set up to have these wireless charging for the buses. So as the buses drive down the road, they're constantly recharging themselves.
Right.
But that involves major infrastructure. That's not something the United States can even fathom at this point.
Then we have to also consider what are the maintenance costs of some type of because I would imagine that it's going to be something that's underneath the actual asphalt, or whatever type of road surface that they're going to be using. Or maybe it's going to be something that's on some type of aerial wire. I don't know, but I'd imagine it'd be something closer to the ground, because that's going to be a constant. There's different heights of vehicles to varying degrees, but the ride height of the vehicles, there isn't that much of a variation as compared to the actual overhead height of a vehicle. So I would imagine that it'd be in the ground. And so, especially with different weights of vehicles consistently driving over those surfaces, going to be a lot of wear and tear. So that money's going to have to come probably from a taxpayer base.
Well, we covered an article last week where this company came up with a new recycled material from plastics to engrade with the tar, right? The asphalt, which makes it significantly cheaper. So they can lay it down in just a matter of minutes. They chew up the asphalt that's already on the ground, and then they recycle it with plastic, recyclable plastic, and then they lay it right back down within minutes.
But see, my question is that, the actual act of removing that top layer, is that possible to do without disrupting that electrical circuitry underneath the actual asphalt? That may be somewhat of a challenge.
Well, you probably would never see that in the United States as it stands right now, but in places like Latin America, Africa, China, Russia, places that have not seen any sort of industrialization, laying it down now from the very beginning would actually make it possible, because there's nothing there, right? So you can kind of lay down, like when it comes to railroads, you lay your fiber down next to the railroad because there's no disruption over there. And so that fiber will be there for the next 100 years, almost not disrupted, because there's nothing going on. There's no construction going on there. But in terms of like urban areas in the United States, that you would have to lay that infrastructure out while they're replacing all the pipes from 100 years ago. Because keep in mind, the first piping systems went in 1900, 1905. So you factor that in, they're just now replacing it. I mean, those pipes are well over 100 years old in most places, at least in the New York, Massachusetts, and those, all these old colonial states, the colonies. That infrastructure has been there for a long time. And at some point it needs to be replaced, right? Either the pipes are going to burst or you're just going to replace them. That's a 30-year project in itself. The Big Dig in Boston took 30 years to build, if you keep that in mind. They started that in the 1980s. They didn't finish that until 2000, 2004, 2003? So let me get to this next article real quick. All right, this next one's from carbuzz.com. Chevrolet Corvette sub-brand potentially worth billions. Although the idea has been brought up before, creating a Corvette sub-brand is beginning to gather momentum following the debut of the 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E all-electric crossover. Former GM Vice President of Product Bob Lutz was one of the first to publicly push for a new Corvette sub-brand, allowing for the creation of a high-performance SUV. For example, no one from GM has gone on record in favor of the idea yet, but a new report from Autoblog indicates pursuing this option would be a smart business move. Morgan Stanley analyst Adam Jonas wrote to clients last week that it's time to look at the potential of GM's supercar brand, Corvette. Historically, the thought of GM expanding Corvette into anything beyond its single model status would have been brand heresy. But time are changing. I should say times are changing. But time are changing in global autos. Chances are GM investors, not to mention GM itself, will find Jonas' financial outlook prediction extremely tempting. Jonas believes Corvette sub-brand could be worth $7 to $12 billion. While the C8 Corvette itself would remain the brand's core, a potential all-electric high-performance SUV featuring the Corvette badge would also be highly profitable. Potentially, it could help propel the Corvette brand to sell 80,000 units per year by the mid-2020s. By the end of the decade, that figure could increase to 100,000. Another model with this sub-brand could be a $150,000 supercar. In response to the Morgan Stanley report, a Chevy official told Autoblog, "We appreciate everyone's excitement about this iconic brand, but we will not engage in speculation. It would be hard to believe GM CEO Mary Barra is not considering this route." Another example Jonas pointed out is Ferrari, which was spun off by Fiat Chrysler in 2016. Interesting. I don't know. I always thought that the Chevy Blazer was supposed to be the Corvette truck, and what do you call it? What do you call the other one?
They losing their minds. They losing their minds, man.
Yeah.
It's almost like they don't have anything else to do. How you feel about that, Triz? You in for a Corvette truck?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, obviously, I think it's just number one, the Corvette name doesn't have the brand cachet of, say, a Ferrari. So this is comparing apples to oranges. Doesn't have the brand cachet of a Porsche. I mean, it does have some brand cachet, especially to some of the Corvette loyalists, but especially with the new generation who just don't necessarily have that actual association with Corvette. It's really irrelevant at this point. They could take whatever truck they're planning to release under the Corvette nameplate and put any other name on it. I think that have a marginal effect on the sales. I don't think that's going to be a big factor. So the fact that they're willing to compromise the Corvette name, what little is left of it, for the sake of what they believe would be sales, that's yet to be seen. I don't know if that's really worth it. From my particular standpoint, I don't know. I just think that it's again, there's number crunchers there that really don't care about the actual. Again, we look at trajectory. Like you look at a certain manufacturers, like say for instance Rolls Royce, say for instance Ferrari. A lot of decisions they make, they're not making it for like, oh, let's look at the profitability for the next 5 years. they're looking at the actual longevity of their brand and the respect that their brand commands, you know, for the generations to come. So that's why you look at like the way they market and who they actually associate with their vehicles. They're very, very protective with that. You know, GM, you know, they'll put anybody next to their vehicle and they'll do anything to get some short sales, but then it just really adversely affects the brand, you know, overall. I mean, I really think they should seriously consider, you know, what direction they're trying to go with these vehicles and then plot that out and then say, okay, are the decisions we're making for the next 10 years, how is that going to affect our 100-year plan for our brand? You know, is it really worth it? A lot of times the answer is no.
Yeah, I don't think it. I look at the Corvette brand as a Corvette, man. You know what I'm saying?
The Corvette as a car, not as a brand.
Yeah, I don't see it that way. I feel like when people say I'm going to go buy a Corvette, they don't have a truck in mind.
Well, they could though, right? Because if they were able to make something in that realm, right? If they could make a high performance truck like the Jeep SRT8, I think that's what they're thinking. Because I think Chrysler thought about this as well. They came up with the SRT brand where they had the Jeep Cherokee, the Grand Cherokee, and they had the Viper under the brand, and then they had the Chrysler 300 SRT under the same brand. So that project failed, but I think that a lot of car companies are thinking amongst that brand.
Well, I don't think that Chrysler notion failed, because in actuality, the SRT initially was a trim level, not a brand. That's the reason why I think it has a broader applicability to different models within the model range, is because it was an actual trim level from its inception, as opposed to a distinct nameplate for a certain model. And so I think that a better idea would be like if GM wanted to say, okay, we're going to take the actual, say for instance, the Stingray trim level, or the Z06 trim level, or the ZR1 trim level, and append that to different vehicles appropriately, but append those trim levels to different vehicles in their lineup, as opposed to applying that Corvette nameplate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, GM did it with the SS. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even give the car a name. They just called it the SS.
It was like a bastard or something. Kind of.
Yeah, it was an Australian holdover.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, well, I think that the SS, because think about it, you got the Trailblazer SS, you got the Camaro SS. I think that I think they even did they have a Silverado SS at one point? They had an SSR truck. They had so I think, you know, using the trim level, I think works a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the SRT, you have the SRT4, SRT10, SRT4 Neon and Caliber, SRT8
Viper,
SRT300 SRT10 truck, and hold on for a second.
Yeah, they had.
And so a lot of times they often refer to, you know, because it developed a certain level of respect to SRT brand.
Mm-hmm.
When they had the SRT10 truck, it was the people that decided to call that the Viper truck, not the brand.
Well, the valve covers did say Viper, bro.
Well, but still, they didn't brand it the Viper truck, the actual car manufacturer. The people branded that, and so once the people give it that stamp, that's when it's respected. That's when it's respected when the people brand it. So I think that what GM should do is take a trim level and then apply that across their actual vehicle lineup, and then let the people decide to call it a Viper truck if they decide to call it, not a Viper truck, a Corvette truck if they decide to call it a Corvette truck.
Yeah,
I don't like that Corvette as a brand. I don't even know how that even make it out the boardroom.
Well, you don't like American brands anyway, so it doesn't really matter at this point.
Oh man, come on.
But you'll buy that Tesla though.
Oh man, I'm on board.
All right, this one is from Jalopnik.com. The most revolutionary thing about the Ford Mustang Shelby GT500 may be the carbon fiber wheels. The new 760 horsepower 2020 Ford Mustang Shelby GT500 is an impressively long named machine. But as production cars hit levels of power previously considered unreachable, we are coming to a point of diminishing returns. Our ability to create titanic power is outstripping our ability to put said power to the ground without massive amounts of electronic intervention, which by its very nature reduces power in order to maintain traction. So if increase in power comes with caveats like that, where can we look to next in our never-ending quest to go faster? Well, to paraphrase the great Colin Chapman, you start by adding lightness. And on the GT500, we can look to the carbon fiber wheels as a great example of that. My first encounter with the carbon wheel manufacturer Carbon Revolution was at the Mustang GT350R launch a few years back. As taken as I was with the supplier's wheels and the tech behind them, I was so focused on driving the GT350R that I didn't give these wheels their due when I wrote the review of the car. Not too long after, I got an opportunity to spend a whole day behind the wheel of the GT350R on track, where I was really able to focus on what the carbon wheels were doing and exactly how much they added to the overall performance of the Mustang. And the answer was that they actually added a lot, or more accurately, subtracted. A set of original equipment forged wheels for the GT350 weighs in at about 33 pounds per wheel. The carbon fiber GT350 wheels are just 18 pounds each by comparison. According to the principles of math, that's a savings of 15 pounds per wheel, vital pounds shaved off easily where it counts. Even more impressive, the GT500 wheels weigh almost the same as the GT350R wheels, but are a full inch bigger in diameter. They are just not cheap. On the GT500, the wheels are part of an $18,500 option package, as much as a decent used Honda Accord, or even a Mustang that's a couple years old. The wheels are standard on the GT350R, though replacements are $3,433 each up front and $4,053 each for the rears, according to Car and Driver. Worth it? If fighting the laws of physics is your bag, then maybe. Our buddy Jason Fensick over at Engineering did a very informative video a few weeks back detailing this very subject. But Jason's main focus was on the overall mass of the car. While the mass of the wheels does, of course, contribute to the overall vehicle weight, wheel weight is far more important because a wheel's mass is additionally rotational and unsprung. The rotational mass of a wheel is simply the torque needed to rotate said wheel. The more you decrease the mass of a wheel, the easier it is to accelerate and also decelerate at any time vehicle speed changes. This means less power is needed from the engine to rotate the wheel, in effect, adding horsepower. And also improving fuel economy as the engine is doing less work. Additionally, weight increases braking performance as well. And there is simply less mass for the brakes to have to act on. In addition to rotational mass, a wheel's mass is also an unsprung mass, meaning mass that is not supported by the suspension. So as you can see, the wheel weight is probably some of the most crucial weight in a vehicle, and also one of the most impactful in terms of benefits produced by reducing weight. For years, steel and aluminum have been the go-to materials for wheel manufacturers. Steel is durable and cheap, while aluminum is more expensive but lighter. Looking to save even more weight, some wheel manufacturers have long gone as far as to use uber expensive magnesium. In fact, it's magnesium that comes closest to carbon when manufacturers are looking to shed pounds. However, the material pricing for such wheels is a huge portion of the cost needed to build them. On the other hand, carbon fiber reinforced plastic is increasingly becoming relatively inexpensive. Traditionally, however, they are still very labor intensive to build. This is where companies like Carbon Revolution come in. Looking for a competitive edge while working on his Formula SAE program at Australia's Deakin University, Ashley Demead and his team designed a set of carbon wheels with the help of an outside engineering firm that supported the program. The wheels made a huge performance advantage. Interest peaked, and firm principals would go on to partner with Demand and co-found Carbon Revolution. Interesting. Now, just as Henry Ford didn't invent the automobile, Carbon Revolution didn't invent the carbon wheel. But like Ford, what it is doing is creating a way to automate the build process, making the wheels better and less expensive by doing so. To that end, Carbon Revolution has invested a huge amount of cash to upgrade and expand its facilities located in Geelong, Australia. I'm not going to read this whole thing because we don't have a whole lot of time, but this is actually dope, man. I like that Ferrari wheel though. I will give him that. I don't know if I can stomach.
That's the shot I wanted to see right there.
Yeah. What?
That cutaway.
Oh, here.
Yeah, the cutaway.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if I can stomach 18 grand, man. That's a lot of money, man.
It's definitely a lot of money.
That's a lot of money for some wheels.
Yo.
But Hyperforce wheels are like 10 grand too, though, right? They're like 2,500 a piece.
Yeah, you gonna break bread for them carbon wheels.
Mm-hmm. And they're gonna break when you hit a pothole too.
Yeah, you out of there. They gonna break when you take them to the tire shop too.
Oh yeah.
Yo,
But you have to ask yourself, if you're spending that type of money, what is the application for that vehicle? Are you going to actually drive it around? Is it going to be strictly a track car? So if it's strictly a track car, there's so many better options for a track car. This is the problem.
Yeah, but
you're going to look at the actual durability of this carbon fiber wheels and say, okay, where would I take this outside of the track and risk damaging my carbon fiber wheels? So he said, well, I'm just using it as a track toy. Then he's like, well, damn, I'm getting blown out of the water, by Mazda Miatas because I can't consistently go around these corners without chewing up my tires. Because bear in mind, right? Mm-hmm. Not only are you spending $18,000 on the wheels, in order to extrapolate that actual performance, you're gonna need to buy high performance tires. Mm-hmm. And the vehicle of that mass is going to chew through high performance tires. It's like this vehicle is not very practical. The carbon fiber, I think a lot of people are getting the carbon fiber wheels is just because it's just like, almost like a more of a bragging right. Like, just like somebody's unwillingness. It's almost like, well, if I'm gonna get a GT 500, I might as well get the carbon fiber wheels because other than that, it's not the GT 500. That's gonna be like the mentality of a lot of people. Almost like people who get the not the actual high performance, but like a conventional Mustang. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a sacrilege as getting a 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder Mustang. So I believe it may be almost a sacrilege to get a GT 500 without the carbon fiber wheels, but in practical application is not really worth it.
Yeah, I think you can save more unsprung weight by going with the actual carbon ceramic brakes.
Mm-hmm.
You can save
but carbon
weight
ceramic
in the braking system.
Yeah, well, carbon ceramic brakes are going to be an absolute necessity for a vehicle like this if you ever plan on going on a track, because regular brakes are just not going to be able to last past 7 laps.
But this car don't have carbon brakes available.
Oh, it doesn't?
Nope.
Oh, well, you in trouble. Yeah. I think the main draw for this vehicle with the carbon brakes is not going to be the unsprung weight, believe it or not. The main draw is the actual superior heat dissipation properties of the carbon ceramic brakes and the actual consistency that the carbon ceramic brakes will provide once they're heated up. So that will be the main draw. Mm-hmm. But I mean, even still, you're talking about a lot of money put into a vehicle that in actuality, you can get a vehicle for half the price that will be a superior on-track performer. So again, when you buy the GT500, what's going to be your application for that vehicle?
If you got the money, you got to get the carbon kit because it's gonna hold value way better than the other version.
Well, that would be the only reason why is if you're looking at the Mustang as something, okay, I want something that's going to hold value or maybe even appreciating value. But then again, if you're talking about appreciating and value, holding value, then you're going to limit the amount of miles you put on it. You're not going to track it. So it's like, it's really, the GT500 is pointless. I'm going to just go ahead and say it.
Hey, you know what, Trees? I hate to say it too, man. Like I said in the last panel we had, bro, it should have been a stripped down, balls to the wall,
Trank.
with a cage in it.
I mean, well, they already have something like that. They have the COPO Mustang. I mean, if you really want just a track only or like a drag strip version. What I think the GT500 is massively overpriced. Period.
Yeah, I don't know what they was thinking with the pricing either.
Yeah. That's the reason why I think the GT500 is pointless, especially in the wake of the Mustang. Oh, Mike, we had the conversation talking about another manufacturer coming out with a miniature vehicle. Is this on your docket?
It was not on the docket.
Do you know what vehicle I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's the Hyundai Kia thing, but that's been long rumored and talked about.
I don't want to open a can of worms if it's not on the docket. So I'll just
we'll get to that Thursday, man, if we can, man.
Okay, we'll leave it alone for now.
Yeah, maybe Friday night, but that Ford, man. It's the thing is they should have invested all of the carbon fiber on the interior if they really wanted to reduce the weight, right? Carbon fiber door cards and dashboards and carbon back seats and carbon trunk, carbon hood, carbon bumpers. They should have put the money there, not put the money into the freaking wheels. Not so much the money, but the investment seems to be, well, let's reduce the unsprung weight. Okay, you do that, but the rest of the car is like a fucking boat.
Yeah, I mean, they got a Camaro that's competing with it for cheaper, right? What's that Camaro with?
That's the LT1, right?
Yeah, the LT1. Like, I would rather have the LT1 for the money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let me get to this next article from CNN.com. California won't buy cars from GM, Chrysler, or Toyota because they sided with Trump over emissions. The state of California is taking aim at GM, Chrysler, Toyota, Nissan, and other automakers that are aligning with the Trump administration in its battle over emissions rules. California issued a statement late Monday saying that as of January, the state would only buy vehicles from automakers that recognize the California Air Resources Board's authority to set tough greenhouse gas emission standards for vehicles. California is also pledged only to do business with automakers that committed to stringent emission reduction goals. Separately, the state also said it will no longer buy sedans that are powered only by internal combustion engines. No matter who manufactures the car, it will buy only plug-in electric or hybrid sedans, although California would make an exception for certain public safety vehicles. That rule does not apply to SUV or truck purchases. Car makers that have chosen to be on the wrong side of history will be on the losing end of California's buying power, said California Governor Gavin Newsom in a statement. In court and in the marketplace, California is standing up to those who put short-term profits ahead of our health and our future. General Motors, Fiat, Chrysler, Toyota, and Nissan, among others, formed a group to intervene in federal court cases to argue that there should be a single set of emissions and mileage rules nationwide. Currently, the Trump administration and the Environmental Protection Agency are seeking to strip the right of California to set tougher emission rules for itself and for 13 other states that have the rules California sets. The 14 states that follow California's rules have about a third of the US population. California's ban could take a bite out of affected automaker sales, particularly GM and Chrysler. Between 2016 and 2018, California purchased $58.6 million in vehicles from GM, $55.8 million from Fiat Chrysler, $10.6 million from Toyota, and $9 million from Nissan, according to Reuters. For four automakers, Ford, Volkswagen, Honda, and BMW have reached a deal with CARB to cut emissions through improved fuel mileage and use of electric vehicles, even as the EPA rolls back national rules to cut emissions. Those automakers could benefit from California's rules on who it will buy from in the future. Tesla, the only California-based automaker, makes nothing but electric vehicles and thus also complies with the rules. The automakers that are pushing for a single set of emissions rules say they believe the EPA in California should reach a deal that both sides can live with. They say in court filings, they are willing to have rules more stringent than current mileage and emissions standards, but they are not able to meet the ambitious targets that California has set for the future, although details of California's vehicle purchase rules are not yet spelled out. They could prevent the state from purchasing all electric vehicles made by automakers challenging it in court, including GM's Chevy Bolt, in favor of gasoline and electric hybrid vehicle made by Ford, which does not currently have any electric-only vehicles available for sale. Volkswagen does have an electric version of the Golf available for sale in California, but it is imported and not made as at its sole U.S. plant in Tennessee. This is interesting. You're basically putting sanctions on those companies. You boycott, divestment, and sanctions, BDS movement against these companies. That's something you never heard of before. This is very interesting. You're taking them to war.
I think that I didn't know that they was teaming up to go against California and try to make a nationwide thing, because as we know, cars sold out of California have special emissions and special ECUs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's been a hassle for a while.
Yeah, they would have to look at what the volume is, but based on the numbers they talked about, $58 million in vehicles, that's a pretty significant number. So, but if they're already talking about boycotting these companies, they already buy the BMW i3 for California, not California Highway Patrol.
The city?
I think it's the LAPD's traffic enforcement and for the parking enforcement.
Oh yeah, code enforcement.
Well, not code enforcement, but the parking authority. I think the parking authority uses the electric vehicles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that makes a lot of sense, man. BMW, they also buy BMW bikes too. The California Highway Patrol, they use BMW bikes now. They don't use Harley. It's a cold game out here.
Them BMW travel bikes with the side luggage thing.
Yeah. The panniers, yeah.
Not me.
They said those things are so reliable, man. They're fractionally cheaper than the Harleys. I find that to be very interesting. I know in Cambridge, Mass, they use the BMW bikes too.
Yeah, see, I mean, you on a Harley, I'm pretty sure they probably got tired of just the vibration and whatnot.
Oh, those things were crap, man. They didn't have any technology to them. They were basically analog bikes, man. But the BMWs, you can't even hear them, and they get better mileage too. I think those BMWs get anywhere between 60 to 65 miles to the gallon. You were lucky to get that with a Harley.
Now they look comfortable too, man.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I was looking at that. I was looking at that Honda, the Africa.
Oh, the Africa Twin.
Yeah.
Mandela and Winnie Mandela.
It's comfortable though.
Oh yeah, I thought they
Yeah,
still
it's
make it.
comfortable, man. Nah, they brought it back.
Okay. All right, let me get to this next article from carbuzz.com. Exposed C8 Corvette ZR1 details are beyond magnificent. It's time to start a serious discussion about the next phase of the all-new Corvette's life. Prior to the 2020 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray revealed, there were all sorts of rumors about it, as well as future variants such as the next Z06 and ZR1. Earlier this month, we got a teaser image of the Z06's supposed steering wheel design. But today, Motor Trend has some pretty concrete details about the next Corvette ZR1, and chances are highly likely you're going to be impressed. Supposedly high-paced sources have told Motor Trend the C8 ZR1 will utilize a performance hybrid system, boost output to a total 900 horsepower. The anonymous sources refuse to comment which V8 will be used, but past rumors have claimed the ZR1 could come powered by a V8 ranging from 4.2 liters to 5.5 liters. If you recall, a C8 Z06 will supposedly feature a twin turbo flat plane crank dual overhead cam V8 based on the engine in the C8R race car. Will this engine be hybridized for the ZR1? Too early to know for sure. This hybrid system will include an electric motor located between the engine and transmission, but it's also possible the C8 frunk could instead be used to house a pair of front-mounted electric motors aimed to increase performance and even perform torque vectoring to better aid the rear axle's electronically controlled limited slip differential. And yes, this would mean this ZR1 would be the first ever all-wheel drive Corvette. Although a dramatic departure from tradition, there are numerous all-wheel drive benefits such as improved handling and the ability to put down power while exiting corners. One past example where this worked beautifully, the Porsche 918 Spider. I thought that the NSX did an excellent job, man. From all the reviews and people who talked about it, they said it was just like having rear wheel steering. Matt Farrer said he barely turned the wheel on the track. He said you could just move it with your finger, with your index finger, and it pretty much steers itself.
Hey, Mike. I just want to know, where was the first place y'all heard about this all-wheel drive Corvette?
Mr. Fantastic?
Oh, man. Come on, man. You know I called it, man. I called it.
Well, you used to work for GM, man.
I worked for Ford. I was working for Ford.
Oh, you were stealing details in.
Yeah. I was hey. All we care about is the price. How much?
Oh, that Corvette's gonna be at least 200K. That thing's not gonna be cheap, man. If the Acura NSX is expensive, I can't imagine that's not gonna be cheap, man.
Nah, not with all that technology. They finna 200.
Yeah,
you thinking 200?
Yeah, it's gonna be 200 easy. Easy.
You buying a $200,000 Corvette?
That's a hard sell, dog. A hard sell.
Yo, but that's what I'm saying. I would take just the twin turbo version. I'll be happy with that.
Yeah. It's not a hybrid though.
Nah, it's not a hybrid, but still, I mean, it's still better than what's about to flood the streets.
Mm-hmm. I don't think the ZR1 will eclipse 150 base MSRP.
No way. No way.
Yeah,
nah, bro.
Yeah.
Two motors.
Yeah.
Oh, you said Z06 or Z07.
No. The ZR1 will be like maybe 149.99, 149.999 base MSRP. That's without any options. Mm-hmm. For the ZR1, and you heard it from me first.
Bro. It's gonna be 200, bro.
I want all the smoke.
Hey, it's gonna be 200, fam.
I'm gonna tell you why this is distinctly different than the NSX, because the volumes that they will move will be significantly higher than that of the NSX. Now, this is not gonna be like some, crazy amount of numbers selling, because this is gonna be a niche vehicle, but it will sell more units than an NSX, which means they won't have to price it as high to actually return a profit. And I don't know if GM even really cares about necessarily returning the profit. I think that this vehicle, the ZR1,
that's why it's gonna be 200,000.
No, the ZR1 will be GM's ability to. If the ZR1 is 200,000, they're gonna have to significantly move the Z06 up market. You see what I'm saying? Because as the current system goes, it wouldn't make sense to price it that far from a Stingray. You see what I'm saying? Because we got to look at the price relative to a Stingray. So unless they're going to move the Z06 up market and then move the Grand Sport up market as well to actually kind of fill in the void and kind of spread out that difference, then maybe I could see the ZR1 being that pricey. But as it stands now, I don't think so. I think 150 is appropriate.
I don't know how they'll do it, Trish, because
if it's 150, I might have to go ahead and get one.
Oh, think about this. Think about this, right? So the LFA.
Nah, fam.
No, hold on.
Hey, come on, Triz.
No, think about this.
I ain't gonna let you do that, Triz.
No, hold on. Listen to what I'm saying.
Man, we talking about Triz.
Hold on. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. They sold the LFA at a loss because the amount of technology and R&D put into that vehicle, in order to make their money back, they would have to sell it for significantly more, but they accepted that because they wanted to make a statement. You see what I'm saying? So GM can afford to make a statement. It's not Mazda. Now, Mazda's crazy. Let me get you started on Mazda. But GM can afford to sell, a vehicle like the Z06, the ZR1 at a loss.
We talking about 900 horsepower, dual electric motor with torque vectoring.
That is not going to go for 150, Triz. I hate to disagree with you on that. That is not going to go for 150. Even the NSX, man, with all its technology, is half the price of the Porsche, and the Porsche is extremely expensive. This thing's $700,000. So
okay, but who thought the mid-engine Stingray C8 would base MSRP for under 60? Oh, there's a lot of naysayers, and I was the one that was saying no, it's gonna be under 60. There's a lot of naysayers.
But Triz, that's not fair to use that comparison, because if you factor in, if you try to build a C8, it's not starting at 60. I mean, it starts at 60, but as soon as you add,
seats,
as soon as you add navigation to it, man, the price goes up like $10,000, man. That's
okay, so you think they can't do the same thing with a ZR1? Because look, they can have a bare bones model,
that thing will start at 200.
And listen, hold on, right? Think about this, right? I'm thinking they're gonna have an option for magnesium or carbon fiber wheels, shoot the price up another $20K. Then some type of I don't know what else they're gonna have in it, but I mean it's gonna be maybe some kinetic energy recovery system that actually almost like the equivalent of, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, some type of curve system that could boost the power temporarily to like 1100 power for like launches and stuff like, this something crazy that's gonna boost the price up even more.
For 300,000, it's gonna be 200. It's gonna be 200, bro. And that's why I said we need to get Super Chat activated. Solange got Mike.
Yeah, but while we wait on Mike, man, we gonna see Tie City.
No, 200. I mean, 150. Oh man, they're gonna be sold out right away.
That's okay. They sold the LFA at a loss.
Yeah, but the LFA just I don't think that this a different kind of loss though, fam. That's a different kind of loss. The LFA was a,
Think about it. Is it really a
LFA
loss, or are they leaving money on the table? What's the difference between losing money and leaving money on the table? LFA lost money, right? But with GM, I think they're
gonna lose money, bro, if they put that car like that.
Nah, I don't think. No, let me tell you. I think they can actually
research
produce
and
the vehicle. I think they could produce the vehicle for under 150 per unit with economy of scale if they make enough, right? That's number one. So that wouldn't be losing money. That would just be leaving money on the table because they could legitimately sell it for 200 plus with 900 horsepower. They could sell it for 200 plus and still move every unit. But to make a statement, they can offer it at 150.
They are not in the business for making statements. They are in the business for making money.
They're making
money. They're making money.
They would not sell no Z06s. 150, you going straight for that one.
Well, no, think about this though, right? Okay, so for me, right, I would rather have a lighter Corvette than a Corvette with more horsepower. So if I get the Z06, if the Z06, say for instance, Z06 weighs 3,500 pounds, whereas the ZR1 may weigh 4,000 pounds, but even though it has 200 more horsepower, I would rather have the Z06. That's just me. So I don't think it necessarily cannibalize the sales, but I think it would split the buyers. There will be two different buyers for each model.
I mean, it may be lighter, but it's not going to outperform it.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Corvette. It's going up against some stiff competition, man. When you get in that 150 category, you're talking McLarens, you're talking GT3s, GT3 RS, GT4 RS.
Well, think about the 200. Y'all talk about 200,000. 200,000. Like I can get a lightly used Ferrari. Well, not a light. I can get probably a 3-year-old Ferrari for 200,000. It's like
900 horsepower one.
Yeah, but it doesn't have 900 horsepower. That's the difference.
I don't give a damn. Listen, when I pull up in that Ferrari, I don't care what you got, man.
But that's what we said. A $200,000 Corvette is insane.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they're not gonna sell it for 200,000.
Oh yeah, they will. Oh yeah, they will.
Not based MSRP.
They'll lose profit just trying to sell it at 150. Because the car itself, you have to factor in, if they're talking about a hybridized vehicle, the batteries alone is they have to make up for the investment in that. Unless they're borrowing technology from Honda, to do the same thing what they do with the NSX. But even Honda wasn't silly enough to sell their car for 150. They sold that sucker at 180 and up. Even though they didn't sell in the rapid numbers the second time around, the point of the matter here is that there was no way they can sell it for less than what they were offering it for. It's just not feasible on the market.
Okay, so guess what? 150 base MSRP. I'm standing on it. I want all the smoke. I'm gonna leave it at
that. Hey, when it come back being 250, then what?
I'll take the fade. This all good.
Nah, I don't know, man. That 150. They can't sell enough of. They won't be able to sell enough.
Let me get to this next article. This one is from Motor1.com. Mercedes-AMG reconfirms GT Black Series hybrid GT4 door for 2020. Yeah, this is sick, man. This is beyond sick.
I bet that ain't 150.
No, that's 200. That's 200. Because you can't even get a GT. A GTC is 150. GTR is about 180. The Mercedes-AMG GT is no pushover sports car. In fact, its most anemic version produces 469 horsepower and 465 pounds-feet of torque, coming from the 4-liter V8 with boosts coming from twin turbochargers. Its current most powerful version, the GTR, makes way more than the makes more than that at 477 horsepower and 516 foot-pounds of torque and twist. But AMG isn't about to let its guard down and making its sports car even greater. By testing a number of times on public roads this year, the AMG GT Black Series is bound to happen. And AMG's global head of product management and sales, Michael Noller, has confirmed that it's arriving sooner than we think. Speaking to Road and Track during this year's LA Auto Show, Noller said that the AMG GT Black Series would be launched next year. The AMG honcho didn't give a reveal date, though, but he said that it should hit production by the end of 2020. It's a long time, man. To recall, the last time AMG used the Black Series moniker was in the AMG SLS, which gave the coupe an increase to 622 horsepower and an increased redline to 8,000 RPM. Nola didn't disclose any info about the AMG GT Black Series output increase. However, he said that it would be its more extroverted version, and it underlines the history and performance of the GT two-door. Apart from the GT Black Series, Noller confirmed that a plug-in hybrid GT four-door will also be launched next year. No launch date was set by, he confirmed that the GT Black Series and the plug-in hybrid GT four-door will be launched close to each other. The production of the latter will also come in by the end of 2020. Yeah, these go hard, man. I'm sorry, but these are better than 911s. Let me go to this screenshots. These eat the 911's lunch. I don't know. You know, I mean, you buy a Porsche because you want a Porsche, but these things eat the lunch of a 911.
I like these, man.
Yeah, these go hard, man.
I like them, man.
I've always liked those. Like it always reminded me of the German interpretation of a Viper, like a more refined, elegant. I mean, just by the vehicle layout and the proportions and things of that nature. Obviously, they have a different character, but just the overall aesthetics of it, it just reminds me of a German version of the Viper, or maybe even like a German version of a TVR. But what I will say is that at some point, I think Mercedes really needs to contemplate mid-engine. They're really pushing the envelope as far as performance from a front engine layout vehicle.
It is
mid-engine. It is mid-engine.
The engine sits behind the front wheels.
Yeah.
That's a front mid-engine. I mean, I'm talking about a real mid-engine. Come on,
but it's just as comparable to a rear engine car, though.
No, it's not, because of the sight lines of the vehicle. You talk about like the actual sight lines, like, you know, when you actually have a vehicle that with a long hood like this, it's not the same as having a vehicle with an engine behind you. You can have the actual slope of the front hood significantly lower, giving you better sight lines and better able to actually negotiate your apexes and more tractable to a larger variety of drivers. I mean, it is considered a mid-engine car. I mean, but to that vein, there's lots of vehicles that are considered mid-engine because of the engine placement after of the front axle. I mean, you may even look at a Mazda MX-5. If my memory serves me correctly, I mean, that engine is kind of pushed kind of far back, you know, with that long hood. But even still, I don't really consider that a mid-engine car.
Yeah, but I don't think the MX-5 was winning any laps, man.
Well, I mean, that's because the MX-5 is a different class of vehicle, much lower power output, is not designed to be some type of bat out of hell performer. But I mean, I think that when you start looking again, we've already talked about how we got Corvette, obviously, then we got another manufacturer that's getting into the room with a mid-engine. I think this is going to catch on like wildfire. I think at some point Ford's going to have to make a mid-engine vehicle that's actually available to the masses. I'm not talking about the Ford GT $400,000 or $450,000 base MSRP. I'm talking about something that's more along the lines of the C5 pricing or C8 pricing. So once you start having all these other players in the realm of mid-engine with those classic wedge proportions and that just exotic look, Honda probably gonna make a Corvette C8 competitor with butterfly doors. Like Mercedes have to do something. I mean, there's a place for this.
I don't think so, though, bro.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, Trish. That car is blowing away 911s on the track.
I'm not talking about just the track, because I don't think people a majority of the, well, I mean, maybe this high performance version, but a majority of the buyers for the AMG GT, I mean, they're not taking these cars on the track.
Yeah, but that's a street legal track car. That's the whole purpose of it. It's a street legal track car. It's a turnkey track car. So what I'm saying here is that they compared this to the 911, and they said it's either 1-for-1 or better than the 911.
I don't care if it's better. I want something with
shit.
an engine behind me. How about that?
Oh,
I'm paying that
shit.
kind of money. I better be able to look over my shoulder and see my engine.
Man, this C8 that made y'all bougie, man.
Yeah, hell yeah, I'm bougie.
That C8 that came out, man.
Hey, look at, and then we got the SLC supercar. I mean, come on, listen, hold on, I need that engine behind me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh man, Trish. Oh man.
Yeah.
What are your Charger boys gonna say, man? Your Challenger boys gonna say, man?
I ain't never had a Challenger, so you can't put that on me.
No, that AMG GT, man, I like them, man.
Yeah, man, they go hard, man. They go super hard, man.
I don't like that wing on there, man. I don't like that wing like that.
Oh,
I like that little duck bill that come on the.
Yeah, but that wing is adjustable. It has the Allen wrench keys on there, and it has the proportions of which degree you need to set it for the track.
I don't want the wing on there at all. I'm with Ty City. I like it straight, no chaser, no wing.
I think they could have did a better spoiler or something, man. That wing ain't doing it, bro. Not on
it's
like
no different than the Porsche 911 GT3. It's the same sort of wing.
I mean, it's different, bro. On that car, man, should have had they could have had something that, you know what I'm saying, pop like a bigger spoiler that popped up or something.
Or you could have had one of those. Remember the Black Widow kit from Mustang?
Yeah.
Remember how that wing kind of shot off, like, you know, more laterally as opposed to going up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a wing along those lines where it's like kind of goes back instead of going up, because it messes with the lines of the vehicle. That vehicle has such sexy lines. That wing kind of disrupts all of that.
Yeah, I like that. I like the little pop up one that come on the regular one.
Well, that's not going to provide enough downforce on the track. That's the issue.
No, that's just for looks. That's just for looks. That's not actually doing anything. All right, let me get to this next one. All right, this one is from jalopnik.com. Vintage Porsche 911 prices seem normal again. Maybe. This is for Ty City.
Yeah. Hey, I've been finding them. They go quick now, man. It's always a Porsche market, dog.
Mm-hmm. And a decent driver grade 911 selling for a same price, a sign of consumer confidence levels, a portent of a downward trending economic environment, or just a buyer getting a great deal. Today on Bring a Trailer, this silver Porsche 911 Carrera 3.2 Targa, arguably among the most iconic sports cars of all time, sold for a price that I would call within the realm of sanity, $25,800. It's been years since I've seen anything close to this. It feels like the tides are turning. I don't know, man. 25,000, that is clean.
I mean, the 912s are way cheaper. But I don't know why people don't rock with the 912s. I think the 912s are 4-cylinders, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, same body, same everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's clean though.
Yeah,
Clean. I actually bought my Starion off of
Bring a trailer.
Bring a Trailer. Yeah, it was an article that was wrote up on my Starion.
Oh, they did an article on you.
Man,
Yeah.
yeah. How the heck did we go from a Porsche 911 to a Starion? Ty, see, if you don't sit your
Hey man, hey, Triz, these the kind of cars that be on Bring a Trailer, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm in that space.
And that's why you got a trailer?
Nah, hey, I actually paid to have it. I had it shipped down here.
Oh man.
If I find that article, I'll send it to you. I'll shoot you the link on it.
Mm-hmm. All right, this next one is from Jalopnik. The C8 Corvette ZR1 will be hybrid and make 900 horsepower report. It's the same thing that we read earlier, but there's put more emphasis behind it. Yeah.
That's Triz gonna get his for 150.
get what for 150?
the ZR1.
You're gonna need a lot more super chats than that.
Nah.
He gonna have to get that Patreon popping.
No, I'm thinking more along the lines of a Z06. You know, if you know, but you know, actually, you know, I've been looking at JDM cars. And I'm trying to do the research and try to figure out, you know, what it's going to take to get a JDM car, what's the overall cost, and blah blah blah. Because I'm looking more along the lines of a Gloria or a Cedric. I was looking at the Centuries, but you know, that maintenance and upkeep may kill me on the Century. So,
Yo, you what year Gloria or Cedric you looking at?
I want the Y32, like a 94, a 94, 93, 92 Y32.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
With the Bentley lights in the front.
Yeah. The separate light. It got like 4 eye. You know that is it's the same car as a Q45 over here.
Yep. Actually, it's the M45.
It's a little bit different, but
Well, no,
yeah,
because
the front is different.
When you look at the Cedric that came after that, it's the M45. The model after that, the Y, not the Y33, but like the Y34.
Yeah, that's what I had. I had a Y34. I just got rid of it last year. I had a silver.
Was it JDM?
No, it's American. The
Oh,
Y34.
okay, yeah.
But
yeah. I want
the crazy thing about the Y34 is the Y34 and the R34, the Skyline, and that's like the luxury version of the Skyline. And when you get in one, it'll trip you out. Like the infotainment system and all that stuff was like the same. I think they actually use the same mirrors, side mirrors too. But yeah, that just holler at me, bro. If you want to import something, bro, I got you, man. You up in the Washington area too, right? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think Super Trick might be having a connectivity issue. Let me get to this next article real quick from Motor1.com. This Mustang Mach-E police interceptor rendering is a goon's bane. Beyond the controversial name, the Ford Mustang Mach-E is one capable electric SUV that can probably outperform a lot, if not all, of its competitors. Its detractors will find it hard to admit that, and that's normal, we reckon. But imagine this, a black Mustang Mach-E as a police interceptor utility roaming the streets at night in complete stealth of silence, just like Batman. Wouldn't that be terrifying? Well, of course not, unless you're a criminal or someone who likes to go over legal speed limits. Thankfully, someone has made a rendering of a Mach-E police interceptor and it looks pretty gnarly. The rendering above was made by Askanov Nikita It's a preview of what the Mach-E would look like should Ford decide to replace the current police interceptor utility with the electric Mustang. We reckon the Explorer-based current police interceptor utility looks already intimidating in its current guise. What more if it's the Mustang Mach-E? If you think about it, the Mach-E fits the bill of being the next factory-built police car by Ford. Yeah, they would have to figure out what they're gonna do with all those computer systems and radios and shit like that. Usually on the gas-based cars, the internal combustion engine, they're using different alternators and stuff like that. On an electric car, that's got to drain the battery.
Yeah. They already trying to give these things to the police already. Yeah, I don't know, man. What's up with Ford, man? What's going on, man?
They're trying to profit too, right? I mean, they gotta sell that.
What's going on with Ford, man?
No, that would have to be battle tested, man. That's got to be really tested, you know, for in order for them to use that, man. Because remember, we covered the Tesla article where California police department ran out of juice trying to chase somebody.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The cops out here with the range anxiety, man. Get out of here, man. The future here, man.
So imagine if they're chasing another electric vehicle, man, and you know, part of the process is that they have to, you know, refill their battery by, you know, hooking up their car to your car. So if they're chasing, you know, some other electric car, they may siphon what's energy you have left in your battery into their car. Kind of like planting drugs on somebody.
Dang, man.
Yeah, it's a cold game out here.
Hey, you know what? That might be a plus for that ride sharing system.
Oh yeah.
They can't run the place or nothing. We sharing.
All right, this one is from TheVerge.com. Elon Musk promises Cybertruck versus F-150 rematch after controversy. A few days after Elon Musk unveiled Tesla's new Cybertruck, he posted a video of the truck taking part in a tug of war with a Ford F-150, which showed the electric Cybertruck easily overpowering the Ford pickup. But after accusations that the competition was unfair, Musk has agreed to a rematch, saying he'll aim to record a new video next week. A number of blogs pointed out that the apparent disparity in the matchup. The Ford F-150 seems to be a rear-wheel drive model, that the Cybertruck is all-wheel drive. The F-150 looks to be a lower spec STX package with a 2.7-liter EcoBoost V6 engine, meaning it's probably lighter than the Cybertruck. It even seems like Tesla's vehicle is given a head start. Interesting. The video was controversial enough that scientist Neil deGrasse Tyson waded in to offer his opinion on Twitter, pointing out that electric vehicles are famously heavy over the axles, which would give the Cybertruck greater traction in a tug of war. And Ford itself also got involved with Sandeep Madra, vice president of the automaker's venture incubator, Ford X, challenging Musk to an apples-to-apples test. Musk responded quickly, "Bring it on," adding that he'll aim to do this next week. Will it happen though? A Ford spokesperson told Motor One that Madra's tweet was tongue-in-cheek, though that doesn't answer the question of whether the challenge was serious. We've reached out to Ford and we'll update this story if we get a confirmation. I don't know, man. That Cybertruck is massive, man. It's like a
it only looked like that because the way that roof line going towards the back. They close to the same size.
Yeah, but it seats 6 people, man. 3 up front, 3 in the back.
Yeah, that motherfucker tight.
I think my battery had died earlier. I had to plug in, but one of the issues is that, again, like Mike said, the truck is massive, a very heavy truck, so it has momentum on its side. And part of the issue is that I did watch that video. That head start is crucial. Like, I don't know, like when I first came on YouTube, probably like 10 years ago, like I was putting out videos of stupid stuff like me, doing speeding in cars and doing burnouts and all kind of crap. This is like back when I first started going on YouTube. And, the videos that I used to see was like, videos of people with their damn, cats. And then there'll be people doing stuff with their cars. This was like before people was really having dialogue on the internet. And so I used to see videos like this, these little tug of war videos. And like I would see much weaker vehicles. If they got a head start, they'll pull that vehicle for a little bit, because once those wheels start to lose traction, it's hard to get that traction back. And so that's part of the issue. And it's no telling, like, especially if you got a lower grade truck, like a big factor to traction is tires. So even if you got a vehicle that's vastly superior, if you got weak tires on that vehicle, you're gonna lose that tug of war match. So there's so many factors. That tug of war is not really telling. A real telltale sign is to have both vehicles equally laden with the towing trailer, and then see how they perform going uphill. That's how you actually test the vehicle's capability, side to side. So this whole tug of war match is pretty much nonsense. But that's not to say that Tesla isn't a good truck, but that actual test that they did is not a real indicator of performance.
Well,
It's
I don't know.
PR.
I don't know what they plan. I don't know what they plan on doing, because it's gonna pull it. It's no way that you could get the bottom end torque from. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how they're gonna try to make it fair. Like, what are they gonna do?
You have equally laden vehicles with a trailer going up an incline, and you have them going up an incline for a sustained amount of time.
Well,
So
Ford wants a rematch.
They want a fair one. They said, I want another fair.
They want to shoot the fair one.
I think Ford is really dumb idea of Ford to try to get into a tug of war match with an electric vehicle that has like probably 85-90% of the torque at 1 RPM.
Well, they don't even wait. Like, just the mass of the truck, though. You got to even overpower the mass of the truck before you even start to move it.
Like I said, it's a real stupid idea. At any rate, you gotta look at this. This is my thing, right? So Tesla initially came onto the scene as more of a luxury car manufacturer, and the reason why they're thrust in that category is just by the interior design of their vehicles and the price point, right? And so, but now they're having a truck that really puts them into mass market, mainstream truck buyers, because that truck base MSRP is $39,000. So it's like I'm trying to figure out what direction is Tesla going with their brand image and brand cachet. Like, maybe they should look at introducing. I don't know. Maybe it's the right move, but for me, it's like I'm thinking like, okay, Tesla shouldn't be coming out with vehicles that's $39,000, and they're trying to market vehicles, especially when we got the vehicles marketing for such an insane amount of money as was it the P90 or P90 whatever, the high performance P90 is like $135,000. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I understand the Corvette is going to have a vehicle that's going to be potentially $150,000 on up, and you have the same manufacturer making the Chevrolet Aveo or whatever the equivalent is now, Chevrolet Sonic. But at the same time, the Chevrolet has never marketed itself as a luxury manufacturer, whereas the Tesla is a luxury manufacturer. So this price spread is kind of mind-boggling to me.
I don't see it that way though, because I think Tesla is a tech company.
Yeah,
They don't have to do anything any kind of way if they don't want to.
those cars are gonna sell no matter what.
Yeah, they made flamethrowers. You know what I'm saying? They do rockets and shit. They don't have to fit into a category with automotive.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They're in a kind of a niche factor for themselves. So
Well, I mean, what's going to happen is that when other luxury manufacturers begin to mass market and mass produce electric vehicles, then we're going to look at, okay, do I want to buy a Tesla or do I want to buy a Mercedes electric vehicle? Do I want to buy a Tesla or do I want to buy a Porsche? I think they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot from a longevity standpoint. I'm looking at trajectory, right? And so they're cannibalizing their brand cachet. And listen, I mean, hey, they may still sell vehicles, but then people are going to start looking at, when they start looking at vehicles in a certain price range and they have alternatives from established and consistent luxury manufacturers, like, okay, I'm gonna go with the luxury manufacturer. I'm not gonna go with Tesla.
I don't think so, Trish.
I think so.
Because I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it like this, right? Me, I've never been the person to be excited over electric cars. Most of these electric cars look like they should have a gas motor in them. There's nothing like forward thinking about none of it. I mean, it is what it is. If Tesla doing stuff like this, they don't care. I think they just out here and they putting themselves out there on purpose because they know nobody else is gonna come out there with them. I don't think they will get far trying to fit in with brands that people already been familiar with for generations.
nah, they like the. There's a lot of feedback from somebody. No, they like the Brookstone store, man, in the malls, man, that sell those niche factor gadgets, man. People just keep coming back and buying them anyway. So
yeah, I was looking at when I seen them unveil it, it came on stage, and then I was like, they just fucked up. And then I'm sitting there looking at it, I'm like, if this is the inspiration for the truck, it's about to be crazy. And then I was like, well, I guess that's the truck. But to me, I'm like, man, I would never drive no little ass truck like that. But then when I seen it on the street and that people inside is big, I was like, oh, that's dope. Because you never get contemporary design like that out of a big automobile. It's always some little tiny car that, you know what I'm saying? They got the flex they design muscles with. Nah, I fuck with it. It's tough. I'm definitely gonna get one, bro. I'll get one, bro.
yeah, they didn't say how long it takes to charge it. I imagine it has a lot of batteries in it, so it's pretty heavy. It's got steel doors and stuff like that, man. Based on the sledgehammer they tried to take to it to dent it, and it didn't even dent. So it's got to be heavy. It's got to be over 5,000 pounds, easy. Most parking garages won't let that truck in there.
But you know what? He said that they're gonna have that bed cover. They're gonna bring a solar one, and it's gonna charge 15 miles from being outside. It'll give you up to 15 miles.
Oh yeah, because it's like 7 feet long. But what happens when you got that electric ATV that they have for it put in the back, and it charges the ATV.
That is tight. That ATV is tight.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's cool, man. And it's not too much to it to manufacture. It's a shell with everything bolted onto it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, it's basically Minecraft.
Hey, relax. All right. I ain't here for the jokes, fam. I ain't here for the jokes. Hey, I wait for Triz to just call it ugly so I can, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna call it ugly. I mean, it's unconventional styling. we'll just say that it's unconventional. I'm not gonna call it ugly, because I really don't think it's ugly. I think it is unconventional style, but it is fashion forward style. I'll say that. And I think that looking at the years to come, we'll become more accustomed to vehicles with this radical styling. But my question is especially when we're talking about an electric vehicle and something that you want to maximize efficiency with. My question then becomes, look at this motherfucker. I'm driving right now. I'm thinking like from the perspective of what's the drag coefficient of this vehicle? Because with electric vehicle, again, you want to maximize efficiency because right now we're still in that era of range anxiety. We haven't maximized the potential for battery capacity. So at this point, we want to extrapolate as much range as we possibly can, and then especially with a truck application, what are some of the factors that are gonna affect the range? Towing. If you're towing stuff, or if you have a payload, that may adversely affect your range. And so if you have a poor drag coefficient with that large frontal area and these edgy surfaces, how is that gonna affect your mileage?
I'm gonna tell you this right now, bro. I'm right here in Texas in truck country, and ain't nobody towing nothing around here, man. You'll see motherfuckers got super duty trucks, bro, and they just daily drive them. Just big trucks. But to me, the styling, bro, like I like wedge design. You know what I'm saying? Like the Lamborghini, the BMW M1, the Subaru XT, the Dome 1 cars, and like even my Starion. You know what I'm saying? The RX, the second generation RX-7, the first generation MR2, all those wedge designs, bro. I love wedge design, man.
Ty City, if you bring up that Starion one more time,
My Starion. Nah, it's dope to me, man. I rock with it.
That's Ty City's version of a 944.
Hey, relax. It predates the 944.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, relax.
All right. I mean, it's not really much you can go over with this. I mean, they have bulletproof windows set up, but they seem to shatter on the first hit from a baseball window.
Now that I don't even think that's gonna get DOT approval.
Why?
Because you don't have no way to break the windows in case of an accident. I don't think you could just have I think the bulletproof, even the bulletproof vehicles got to have some kind of like special commercial use tied to it.
Well, yeah. I thought when they did that, they showed that the sledgehammer wasn't dented and that the windows were bulletproof. I said, this got to have a military application to it.
Oh, I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah, I gotta believe that they're trying to sell this to the U.S. military. I mean, imagine, because typically with tanks and stuff like that, MRAPs and stuff, man, you can hear those suckers coming from blocks away. With something like this, you're not gonna hear it if you're on the battlefield, and they'll probably go undetected.
You might be on to something.
Yeah, that's got to have a military application to it. I can't see why it wouldn't. I mean, if they could replace the window in a few minutes when they hit it, because they didn't anticipate it shattering, but the fact that they can replace the window that quickly, and the fact that it's hammer proof, and it has run flats on it and stuff like that, that's a military application.
Well, see, my partner at work was saying that the cartel gonna be buying them up.
Probably.
Hey, man.
No, cartels usually only make their own discrete non-discrete vehicles. So they'll buy what is that, the Land Cruiser, the one that the UN uses, and just buy it bulletproof. I don't know if you ever saw the documentary Bulletproof Salesman.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want things like that. They don't want to ride around looking crazy out there. But this is definitely. I mean, the interior is so bland, man. It's like just the basic dashboard with this big ass screen on the middle.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have to do something. I think they know that they're gonna have to do something with that. Also, it's they're gonna have to put. It still needs wipers, rearview mirrors.
Uh-huh. Well, it uses cameras.
That's that. It's all minimalist styling.
Yeah,
So when you look at like the actual what you call bland, there is a market for that. I mean, there's a lot of people. Like if you look on the internet right now, there's a movement for a minimalist living.
Oh
And
yeah,
so
I'm big into that. That and interior design and all of those people said they getting it.
mm-hmm.
It's not truck people that's buying this thing, man.
Nah, they go to the mall, man, and go over those speed bumps, man. They're like, whoa, hold on, man, hold on, fam.
Yeah, brace yourself. With that little steering wheel, can you imagine going off road with that joystick steering wheel?
Yeah.
It's not gonna fly. They got some work to do though.
Not much though. I mean, if it's already driving, it's already, they're probably already 50% there, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's gonna have to have a crumble zone for impact. I don't know how they, you know what I'm saying? I know it's sturdy, whatever, but it's gonna have to be crash tested sometime.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if the Model S is passing crash safety standards, this wouldn't be any different. But the fact that it doesn't crumple around the front because of the sledgehammer hit, means that it must have a lot of airbags on the inside. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, but for other cars on the road, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Goddamn tank,
Yeah.
electric tank, man.
Mm-hmm. Let me get to the last one. Todd City posted, man, from Jalopnik. You all are fools for not buying this purple Mitsubishi Starion. Oh, this is the one that you picked up?
Yeah, that's what I bought.
Okay. Now you wrote this, bro. Get your shit together and buy this turbo narrow body purple Mitsubishi Starion. Yeah, you wrote this, Todd City.
No, that ain't right.
E-Pass admitted is as sand in an hourglass. Only once all the sand is down at the bottom, instead of an hour having passed, it is your life that has passed you by. Your Starion life, your life of turbo boosted speed. They must have only made this must be a one-off, man. I don't remember Starions being in purple.
Yeah, it's actually the body color is blue, like a barn scene blue or something like that. But yeah, this the original year. This before they went wide body.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, this the only year that hood was available for it.
So what year is this? 85?
It's 83.
83? And so they got wide body by what, 85?
86 they got wide body. They got wide body at 86, halfway through 86.
So they had Liberty Walk before Liberty Walk.
Yep.
Wow. The Mitsubishi Starion is a car oddly lost in between time. We easily remember the Mitsubishi Eclipse and Mitsubishi 3000 GT, the cars that followed it as Mitsubishi performance coupes, just as we remember the Mitsubishi Galant VR4 and Mitsubishi Evos that followed the Starion as Mitsubishi's general rally car of choice. Damn, it had a rear windshield wiper and the rear windshield opened up. That's crazy.
Yeah, when I got it, it's been in the body shop since then. But see, this the 83, so all this stuff was only made for 1 year. That's why I bought it. It got the digital dash and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
You still got your Starion?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was super clean, and I already had a wide body. I had a beige wide body, and I wanted a narrow body, but they got hard to find. And when I came across this one, I was like, that's in California, and I bought it, and I had it sitting down to Texas.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's supposed to be a nightmare to work on this. Fuck.
Oh, that motor already out.
Damn.
Yeah, that motor out already. I pulled that motor. I'm going back in with a dual overhead motor. Yeah, so what's crazy is this car being the first year, right? All of this stuff that changed. 84 changed from all the rest of the cars got from a different year you can't find none of these parts.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I just opted to swap it.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now, man.
With the little 14-inch wheels on it.
Yep, 14. Yeah.
But it got the sports whip antenna on top though.
Yeah, it you can push it in. I ain't riding around with the cockroach antenna, man. I can't do it. I can't do it, bro. No, but yeah, I'm building some wheels for it right now. I got the coilovers at work. I gotta weld them up, so it'll probably be out. Probably next summer I should be out.
Now, what about the wheel arcs and whatnot, man? You gotta cut that up, man.
Nah, I ain't cutting them, but I rolled the fenders already. I already rolled them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I rolled them with my
Yeah,
fender
you
roller.
put skirts on there, man. It's looking a little anemic there.
Yeah, it's the wide body look way more muscular, but I like the narrow body.
Yeah, you gotta go to Home Depot, man. Get that garage door seal thing, man, and
Oh, across the front?
yeah, across
Nah,
the
man, I can't do it, man. The garden border. Nah, I can't do that, man.
Yeah, man, that's cheap, man.
Well, Ty City gets all of his auto parts from AutoZone.
No, I would never.
Are you gonna paint the calipers too?
He get the venom ports, he get the spinning hubcaps and all that good stuff.
Nah, man.
Drum in the back?
Nah, man. Nah, man. I get all my stuff offline or just through the forums and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna look totally different.
Yeah. Do the rusted hood look too.
The rest, nah, I can't. Well, I can't. that hood is aluminum.
Okay.
Yeah, that hood is aluminum.
I'm surprised the flip up lights still work up on it, man.
It came with an aluminum
hood. It was actually real good shape. Huh? Yeah, that hood. It was only available at 83, that vented hood. The rest of the hoods came flat. But see, this happened when Mitsubishi did a partnership with Chrysler. So it's a Chrysler variant called the Conquest.
You know what this kind of looks like? This kind of reminds me of a hatchback version of the Chrysler LeBaron.
Nah, Trish, you forced that, man.
not today, Trish. I ain't going today, Trish. Nah, but I got a good deal on it, man. The dude sold it to me for like $1,300.
You know, Ty City, my sister had a Chrysler LeBaron.
Man, hey, no, you laughing, man, but my granddaddy, I'm gonna tell y'all a story, bro. Hey, I had got my license to drive, right? And my granddaddy, he said, when you come back, I'm gonna show you. I went down there, got you a car, so I'm gonna show you, what to do, and we're gonna clean it up and whatnot. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm so excited. I'm like, dang, man, I got a car now. Man, it was a convertible LeBaron, bro.
With the wood grain side panel?
Yes, bro. Yes.
Hey,
it had a plaque on the dash. It actually belonged to like some senator or something. I don't even know how my granddad got this car. So, bro, man, looking back on it, man, I feel like shit, bro. I told my
but
granddad.
hold on. But Ty City, did your Chrysler LeBaron had a digital dash with the little computer screen on it?
No, wait. I'm finna tell you. It was a turbo model.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my granddad, I was like, I'm not driving this car. I'm not finna drive this car. And bro, my granddad made me feel so ungrateful, dog. And I don't care, bro.
You was ungrateful, man. You had the turbo model?
No, hell no,
You was
bro.
the man on the street.
Hell no, bro. Bro, all my friends was driving mini trucks and shit, man. They you know what I'm saying? Nah, bro.
Listen, my sister had a kind of like a off-white, maybe it was white. I don't know if it was white or off-white Chrysler LeBaron with burgundy interior with the digital dash. She was whipping. She was whipping.
Nah, not me, fam. And my granddad, he told me, he said, "What, you don't like it?" And he was like, "Cause I ain't buying you another car." I don't like it.
Got the Lee Iacocca special, man.
No. And I sat there and I was like, damn, man, why can't I go with him? What made him want me?
Teach you a lesson.
Bro, what made him think I wanted this shit, man?
Nah, I teach you a lesson, man. You with your DOT markers on the side, man. You got to blacken those out, man. That's the only way that's gonna work.
Nah, man. I don't like none. It's got too many turn signals. The turn signals in the front bumper. Yeah. But I mean, it's in good shape. It looked like somebody got it, and then I guess they had problems with it, and it just sat. Because I mean, the interior, everything complete. It was been stocked, and nothing else was wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I once I started going through I started diagnosing it, right, and then I bought this old thing that you plug in, right? This pre-laptop, and it flashed codes, and I was like, man, there's no way I'm gonna fix this car like this. I'm not even finna do it. I'm gonna just swap it.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm building a 4G63 for it right now.
Where's the battery at, in the front or the rear?
It's in the front.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was all original, man. I like it. When I got it and I walked around it, man, it's just one of them things, bro. Like, I shipped cars here before, and one time I shipped a car here, and I was like, dang, man, they got me.
Yeah. But is the purple peeling on it anywhere?
Just around like on the chin spoiler, around the bumpers, they made out of a plastic, and
Right?
like a urethane or something like that, and the paint didn't really stick to them that good. But
I'm mad that they got the front license plate bolted up on the bumper, man. That kills the look on it, man. It needs to be deleted.
yeah, but in Japan it was different. In Europe it was different. But here we got safety standards. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these cars wasn't, especially back then, they wasn't designed to be on the American road. That's why a lot of old Datsuns, they had these weird bumpers and stuff on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You ever imported a JDM car?
I have imported Civics, and I have imported a GTS, and I imported a MR2.
You had a Nissan Polestar at one point too, right?
No, I didn't have a Polestar.
I'm seeing some Polestars for sale. Hey, after this stream, Ty City, we gonna have to talk. I need to talk to you about the about your import experience.
Yeah, if you up there in Seattle, they got a port.
Yeah, and, I know they got the Tacoma port. They got some importers here, but they trying to charge me an arm and a leg for a Y32 Ultima, a Y32 Cedric. So
I'm gonna tell you what you gotta do, man. You gotta. I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna show you where you find the car and you have them imported for you. You don't buy.
I've been looking at services like that, but it's like I need to know which one that I can actually trust because I'm not sure. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got to talk about it.
Bro, it's easy. It's super easy, and you save so much money.
What's
Yeah,
going
we're gonna
on,
talk
everyone?
after this. Hey, what's going on, Complex?
Nothing much. Mike, I gotta give you my nomination for thumbnail of the year.
Oh
for
yeah.
this video. Yeah.
Bro, the Supreme sticker was sent it over the edge, man.
Nah.
I mean, it's everything. It's Ty City's wet dream of a Cybertruck, dude. Big rear wing, Supreme sticker. You just need a fat lace one across the back gate, lift gate, and yeah, the rims, man.
Yeah.
Hold on, complex. Hold on for a second, Mike. Can you put that picture on the screen while Complex talks about it? We got to break that down real quick. Yeah, we got to do it.
Because look, I'm gonna tell you right now. When I saw it, look, without even reading the title of the video, the first thing I thought was Ty, man. He's the first person I thought about when I saw the thumbnail. I was like, oh,
man, if he would have put a hella flush on there, you wouldn't have heard a peep from me.
I was gonna put Hoonigan on there.
Yeah, you gonna hoon it? You gonna hoon it, Ty? Look at that shit.
That spoiler kind of tough
right
though, man. Hey, I'm not hating on that spoiler.
Oh, but you got to.
Man, that looks awful. That looks awful.
Okay, now let me ask you.
It's awful.
Ty City, are those HRE wheels? What kind of wheels are those?
Nah, them are Hockenheims, man.
Oh, Hockenheims. You know Ty City ain't gonna get no. You give Ty City some Anke's. He don't fool no Hockenheims.
You know what though?
I mean, Supreme sticker though, Supreme, bro.
Yeah, man. He was trying me with that.
You know, Ty City, aka the hype beast.
Hey, you know what though? I think the spoiler from that Countach will look good on one of these.
Ty City, stop it.
A spoiler from
the one that come to a point in the front. It's got like a. Yeah, I think that'll be dope. But Mike put the damn body kit on the damn thing, man. The whole lift kit, man.
That's all you. You Liberty walk that bitch out, man.
Nah, man.
Liberty ran.
Yo, but I was
Liberty jog. Liberty jog.
Yo, I was thinking the other day, man. I was thinking like people are gonna start welding shit on these damn things, man.
You gonna be the first one? You know how to weld.
I've been a TIG weld all kind of fender flares on that bitch.
No. No.
Hey, what a big fat exhaust pipe.
on an electric car?
Why?
Yep.
That's what I was about to say. Why?
Just to fuck with people.
You're fucking with me right now, dude.
Nah, I had the exhaust coming out slanted.
With the burnt tip on it, like it's titanium.
Yeah, with the burnt tip.
With a bullhorn making noises as you drive by.
Man, and you know that's not even a suspension kit right there either, dude. He cut the springs on that bitch, so you know the truck's just gonna be bouncing all on the road and stuff.
Well, they don't even use springs on Teslas. They use air suspension. So.
Oh
yeah, I know. Ty City replaced.
Oh, that's a bet.
He replaced the air ride with springs.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, you best believe SEMA is going to be lit when these things come out.
Yeah, you're right about that.
No, you're definitely gonna see like some real boss shit. from a couple of shops when they get their hands on these. Best believe it.
But you know what? They say only 17% of the people who pre-ordered the one motor.
I mean, if you're gonna buy an electric truck, man.
I thought it would be more than that, being that the
Nah.
price point was at 40.
Man, look, an electric pickup truck, man. Look, dudes are trying to like haul and tug and pull everything they possibly can. They're not gonna go with a single motor.
I don't think so.
No,
Nah,
17%.
I don't think so. I think people looking at the range, because you get more range with the other motor.
Well, that's true too. You know, it does kind of alleviate range anxiety.
Yeah, you're not finna be like I said, man. These things is not for the truck people, man. But they the most triggered about it. These motherfuckers triggered, man.
Now they can't do any icing because the Cybertruck will be the icer.
Yep.
Or the de-icer for that matter.
But I don't know why Ford trying to get this rematch, because I'm telling you, if they get their ass drugged again, bro.
Yeah.
It just.
Which they will. Which they will.
Wait, what are you talking about, Ty? Like you said, Ford gets the what?
They want a rematch in that tug of war. Right?
With what? The Mach-E?
No. This is with the Cybertruck. I don't know. Did you see the video?
Yeah, I saw the video, but I'm saying what they want to rematch it with, like a Ford F-150?
Yeah.
That's stupid. You might as well use your little Mach-E and, tow up two of them to one of the Cybertrucks.
The complaint about the previous tug of war is that it wasn't an apples to apples comparison due to the fact that they used a low trim level, perhaps the XXT model of the F-150, and and then they which I saw in the video, they said that there was a head start from Tesla. I concur. That's what I saw in the video as well. But I think again, it will never be an apples to apples comparison because of the actual torque distribution of an electric motor. So it's not even worth it. Don't even do it.
That's why I was like, rematch. Like, what are you talking about?
What's a better testament is the ability to tow on a grade for an extended period of time. That's what there should be a test. Have an equally laden trailer. And have them tow up a grade and then compare performance like that. But a tug of war, there's too many different factors, too many different variables that you can't control.
Yeah, and I mean, look, one could even say that Tesla probably used their single motor truck to do the tug of war demo. So from that angle, they could just be like, well, look, we didn't even use like a dual motor or anything like that, right? But outside of that, I agree. Like, tow up maybe 5 tons, put 5 tons on a trailer and take it up a 8%, 10% grade hill, and then measure the variables, like measure the performance of the engine,
matter of fact,
battery degradation or battery usage versus fuel mileage for the same distance. You can measure, stuff like, engine wear. You could actually do a comparison like that and compare the two from that way.
You also want to measure. You want to do a 50, maybe like a 30 to 50 mile an hour sprint. With the laden trailer and see what the acceleration numbers are, and then maybe even a 50 to. I don't want to say 50 to 70. I don't know if you want to be going 70 with a trailer, but you want to simulate the ability to pass the vehicle, because that's a big factor with towing a trailer, is that a lot of vehicles cannot pass a vehicle when they have a trailer. Right. But like that's the reason why people get those big Cummins diesel, because I've seen people with those big full ton, F-350, 3,500 Ram and Chevrolet
Mhm.
trucks
they
pass.
powerful. I had a Super
They
Duty.
pass on
Yeah,
the hill.
Super Duty. Yeah.
I seen
Yeah.
them pass on the hill. Like
But
there's
that
like
look,
a hill.
honestly, that's gonna be a closer comparison. And even with the one of those Cummins diesels, I still don't think it's got anything for an electric motor, dude.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You know the three motor version.
Uh-huh.
I think it's gonna be way better than what people think.
It will. It will.
And I think that's the drivetrain they was testing on that car over there in Nuremberg.
Wait, when the Tesla ran, you mean when it ran the Nürburgring, that they were testing the 3-motor drivetrain?
They was testing the 3-motor version. Remember? We covered it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I didn't know that they were testing. I just saw the spy pictures and stuff. I didn't know that what they were actually testing was the 3-motor setup.
Yeah, it was a 3-motor setup. Remember, because we were saying that they was probably just using that body. They was testing that drivetrain for something else.
Right. That's right. Yeah, we did say that. Yeah. Well,
But
I mean, prove Tesla wrong, man. Prove them wrong.
I mean, shit. I think they let the air out of that Mach 1 project that Ford was finna do. I think they let the air out of that.
Man, look, it was filled with hot air to begin with, and they popped the balloon on that bitch. Like when you look at what the cost for that Mach-E and the cost for the, like, you know, if you want to get the base level Cybertruck, dude, who the hell is gonna buy a crossover Mustang with a Taurus front end and batteries? Who's gonna buy that shit when you go get a Cybertruck, bro? Like, that just sounds better. Hey, when you gonna get a Mustang Mach-E or a Cybertruck? Nigga, I'm about to get a Cybertruck. It just sounds better.
And that's it's a no-brainer, man. Cybertruck, it's a game changer. Shout out to Game Changer.
Yep. Oh, I agree, man.
Yeah, because you know, like the big thing is that Tesla is coming out. We have to really evaluate this. Tesla is introducing to the market an electric truck with comparable, if not better, performance than its combustion powered equivalent at an equivalent price. We're talking about $39,000. You can't say, oh well, you know, this expensive. No, $39,000 is how much those F-150s and Chevrolet 1500s and Ram 50. That's how much they cost.
Yeah, but Triz, think about this: the cheapest Rivian is at the highest level Cybertruck.
So what are you saying about the Rivian?
They all got to go back to the drawing board. All of them. All of them.
The Rivian is dual motor, though.
What's that?
The Rivian is dual motor.
Yeah, but at that price point, that the Tesla equivalent has 3 motors.
No.
And what's that?
No, that's not right.
Yeah,
I
think it is.
With 3 motors.
Yeah, the $69,000 iteration of the Cybertruck has 3 motors.
Because there's one at 40, there's one at 39, then the other one is what, 50? 50
Yeah,
something?
the 3 motor going 0 to 60 under 2.9 seconds, man.
The 3 motor is like $69,000, which is right on point with, say, for instance, a GMC Sierra Denali
HD.
Yep, right on point with it. So the pricing is spot on.
Oh, but you know what? They didn't even show everything because I guess the launch went so bad. Dude, the front of it got space. It's got a compartment underneath the floor bed.
Wait, they're saying the launch went bad?
It did go bad.
Well, I'm saying with the broken window and stuff, he didn't really get to point out the rest of the like stuff on it.
What's we're looking at here, Mark?
Oh, the AMG GTR. We covered an article earlier talking about it. So there's a GTR Black Series coming out.
That Black Series got a big grill though, right?
Yeah, with the what do you call it? The what do you call the things on the front? The
Canner.
yeah, the cantilevers. Yeah.
Damn, 9,000 for some paint.
Some candy paint, man.
Shit.
That's how they make their money on these cars. Some of these options,
Yeah.
carbon fiber this, carbon fiber that, you know, metallic paint this, and yeah, that's how they make their money. You know, Porsche got that model down pat. Porsche know how to make some money on their cars.
Yeah, they're nickel and dime you. That's what it comes down to. They just nickel and dime you.
Hey, nickel and dime me. I need a steering wheel and a stick shift. I'm cool, man. I mean, the Supra coming with the manual transmission next year,
Okay.
right? So all these people who found their way into one this year, what do you think is going to happen?
Those people wanted an automatic. They didn't care about whether or not, you know, whether or not a manual was coming next year. Because if that was the case, they would just put their money down on that first.
But they didn't announce the manual. That's the crazy part. They never said that they was gonna put a manual.
Well, the thing is that the Supra is already 55K, man, loaded. I don't know, man. 60K for a C8, man. It's a little hard pill to swallow, man. Especially if you can get a C7 Z06 for the same price.
But that's what I'm saying. The manual bring the price down.
It does.
Yeah, the manual bring the price down.
Yeah, but that's only by what, $1,000?
Nah, lower than that because they're more than likely they're gonna use BMW parts that they already put in the other model.
You talking about for the Supra?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they dropped the ball, man. I think people just not realizing they dropped the ball. They dropped the ball.
Oh, my thing is, man, it's too little too late, man. It's in a very crowded market right now. You have to really, really want that car in order to justify it at this point. If I'm looking at that and I'm seeing them C7s come back in unsold on dealer lots, man, you're getting Z06s, you're getting
That's a lot of car, Mike. Hey, damn, man. If they get in the 40s.
Yeah. Remember I went to the dealership, man. He told me, man, he said by April of next year, man, those cars are going to be down by 44 to 45K. That's a hard pill to swallow for a Supra. I mean, I know the Supra people say the reviews wax lyrical about it, but I have a hard time accepting that car over a Z06 or a Grand Sport.
Wait a minute. They're saying that the Supra is going to be down in the 40s?
No. This is the C7 Corvettes.
Oh,
Z06.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can see
The last
that.
production models came out this month, so that's it for right now. Actually, that's it going forward. That's it. After January, production will finally come to an end. The C8 will be in production again, and you won't start seeing them until April.
Hey, while we talk about production, do you think the Cybertruck's gonna be on time?
I don't know. It depends on what the parts availability would be for it.
Yeah, they will. You know, they were able to make the Model 3 happen. You know, they hit the numbers. I mean, now granted, they had to build a makeshift manufacturing plant I don't know if y'all remember this. They had to actually literally build a temporary facility.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to complete all of the orders. There was like a certain, basically there was a certain timeline by which they needed to have a certain number of them built. So I'm thinking that with the price point of the Cybertruck, and when you look at the performance details on the 2020 Roadster, and when both of these vehicles are due, I think what they're hedging on is the production of these new sodium glass batteries. Because what Tesla just did was they basically licensed the technology from Dr. John Goodenough, and it's him, and there was like some chick who led like the whole research and development study on these batteries over the last few years, and you haven't really heard anything about them until like the past week. And so all of this information kind of culminated and corresponded with the release of the Cybertruck. So think about it like this: in two different venues of industry, you have one announcing basically that this battery technology is about to go into test production, and then two, Tesla has secured the intellectual property rights to the technology. But this is what one, and this is just kind of me speculating, in order to make the price of the Cybertruck like viable for what they're pricing it at, they have to use these batteries, because the batteries, based on their makeup, what they're made of, it's far cheaper to produce these batteries than it is lithium.
Yeah, but I mean that plus the simplicity of the shell, the
Basically, it's a monocoque, yeah.
the monocoque. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
There's not sections. It's not built in sections or pillars, dude. It's like one metal box, basically.
but see, me, that's how I am. But that's how I am. I seen the interior, and I was like, I hope they don't clutter it
Nah,
up.
it's going pure minimalist, bro. Pure minimalist. And when you look at the performance benchmarks for the 2020 Roadster, in order for it to do what it needs to do at the price that you have to put a cheaper battery in there. You have to.
Well, what's the price they coming in at on the Roadster?
I want to say it's 200 grand. I think it's $200,000.
I can't get that one.
Yeah, just 200 grand right there. So I think those two vehicles are largely, and I would even say that the semis, for that matter, the Tesla semis, I think all three of those vehicles are going to incorporate these sodium glass batteries.
Bro, I didn't know you could even order that semi yet.
Yeah, there's already pre-orders for them.
Yeah, one of the YouTube channels that I follow, they pre-ordered a semi truck.
Yep. I mean, there's been some out here in California spotted on the roads. Now, I don't know if these are companies that are doing research. There's a couple of them just randomly like, whoa, there's a semi right there. So they out there.
Tread.
What's good?
What's going on?
Hey, where's Dodge in all this EV mayhem?
Chrysler?
No, nowhere to be found.
Well, Chrysler has the I think there's supposed to be a Dart electric version coming out.
Man,
like I said, Dodge is nowhere to be found.
Well,
I guess right now they're resting on their laurels because of the success of the Dodge Ram. You know,
that's the only success they can rest on, though.
But that's what they're doing.
Look, the Dart, honestly, in my view, the Dart's not a bad looking car, especially the trimmed out version. I think they needed to go racing with it or something, man, to draw more fanfare.
The Dart was a complete failure.
But it didn't need
Weird.
to be. It's not a bad looking car. And when you look at the I think it's a SR, is it the SR4T or whichever version of it? It's dude.
They don't have an SRT4 version of the Dart, do they?
Yes.
They yeah.
They do?
Yeah, I think
Yes,
they
dude.
did at one
I
point.
haven't seen not one on the road.
Dude,
That's
I've seen a gang of them out here.
Damn, I haven't seen one either.
I haven't seen not one.
Hey, Mike, can you look up a picture of them? Dude, they look dope. That's why I'm like, well, how did Dodge drop the ball on the Dart, man? Now that same car is branded over in Europe as a Fiat.
Oh wow.
Look, that thing needs to be in the TCR.
Oh, they abandoned it. That's what it says. So it looks like some people had made some conversions and whatnot, but they had abandoned it.
Yeah, I knew I hadn't seen one. I I mean, look, the Dart really didn't take on. I don't know what it was about the Dart. I mean, obviously, it's not a bad looking vehicle, but the styling is more Eurocentric. So I don't know how well that translates to the traditional compact Dodge buyer. People who are more used to the Caliber and the neon. You know, when they go from neon and Caliber to a Dodge Dart, it's a big transition as far as aesthetics is concerned.
Yeah.
And then, what type of power plant did they use? A Dodge power plant, or did they use one of those Fiat power plants?
Oh, it doesn't really say. I mean,
See, that's the issue. I'm not sure. I thought the Dodge used like some type of Fiat engine in it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
No, the car itself is honestly, the car itself is a Fiat. It's a rebadged Fiat.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
See, I don't trust Fiat power plants, especially when they got all this. Fiat trying to put all this crazy technology where they got a supercharger and a turbo, all kind of crazy stuff. Keep it simple.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to spend an arm and a leg. I'm not trying to spend an arm and a leg trying to maintain some Fiat vehicle.
Well, they weren't doing that with the Dart. Honestly, man, they weren't doing that with the Dart. You have to look at the Dart largely as just like an extension of the Neon. You know,
I think the Dart has a Fiat engine in it. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
It might.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
Hey, what do y'all think about Rivian? What do y'all think about Rivian right now?
Unproven.
Shaking in their boots.
They got a lot of money in there already.
Yeah, and they haven't turned a profit yet. It's unproven. Like they got to start putting some models out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. What do you think about now? Now they got the Cybertruck out. You know what I'm saying? And the trucks that I seen them have, they look plush. You know what I'm saying? They look plush. They don't look like they come from they look like they come from like a traditional standpoint where it's like a high-end pickup.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, there is a market for the high-end pickup, but obviously with the GMC Denali and even some of the upper echelon trims on the Chevrolet equivalent, Dodge has their high-end version. Ford has their Platinum and King Ranch. I mean, there is a market, but for a manufacturer to rely solely on that upmarket truck buyer, I don't know if that's a wise business move, especially for a relatively new player on the scene. I think they need to kind of they may need to expand their bases. Huh?
How deep is Amazon in there? With
Amazon has so much money; it don't matter how deep they're in; they can check out at any moment, and still wouldn't matter.
Damn.
See, so like Amazon could just say, you know what, I'm washing my hands of Rivian, and it's a wrap at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, man. Whoa. They got to deliver now.
They have to deliver, and the way I think they need to deliver is they need to expand their market footprint. Like, don't just rely on upscale trucks. That is a disaster waiting to happen.
They're gonna have to come down to $39.99.
I don't think they have to come down to
They can
$39.99,
offer the Prime subscriptions.
Hey, that may be a thing, you know, kind of Turo type model or whatever, ride sharing or whatever vehicle sharing model. That might work.
See, because now they in there with Ford too, right? What, I mean, I understand starting a new brand, but I mean, if it's gonna be a truck brand and your bread and butter is truck, why wouldn't they just brand the Rivians as Ford?
Rivian sounds cooler.
Well, and then Ford has to take on all of the liabilities of it as well. If it catches fire or something like that, could destroy the brand. So
Dang, man, the way I'm looking at this shit now, man, I mean, people, they're gonna have to come with they're gonna have to start stepping out the box. They're gonna have to start stepping out the box. Cause like I said, a lot of this stuff, it just look like a sedan or it just look like a this or that. And now they just, well, you know what? Let's just call it a Corvette because that's what they used to. Let's make this a Mustang crossover. You know what I'm saying? It's been getting weird to me, but I just feel like, I really feel like a lot of these people don't know what's going on. They just throwing shit at the wall. Hello?
yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, because I think for like Porsche and Mercedes and a few of them, they know who their customer base is, and they not going away from it. But I mean, some of these moves just look kind of desperate.
I mean, other than fractionalizing the brand, that's the only way you're really going to survive, right? I think automakers are going to go away at some point. I think they just become transportation companies, and that's just it. 20 years from now, you're kind of staving off the inevitable.
And that approach makes more sense than just a lot of the moves I've been seeing over the last year and a half. That they fighting off disappearing. But I mean, competition could come from anywhere now, the way it seems. But that's just my 2 cents.
Oh, who's trying to get in? Oh, Complex Design. That's what the problem was. Give Complex the last 5 minutes. Complex, can you hear us?
I can hear you guys.
All right. You got anything you want to add the last 5 minutes before we close out? Any updates to your IoT project?
Oh, not so much. You know, we got the holidays coming up. So, you know, we'll be back at it next week. But no, just listening, I caught the last part. I don't know what happened, man. You know, Zoom kind of got crazy on my phone. But no, just listening to what, you know, Ty was asking about, you know, what are these other companies doing? And, you know, I've been saying this for the longest about EVs. It's a whole different market segment, right? It's like, it's going to be a lot for a lot of your traditional automotive manufacturers to figure out. It's easy for Tesla because they can just conceptualize from the ground up. They don't have anything previously for people to reference. So you have to kind of take a Tesla as a Tesla, you know, but you know, Ford is an iconic brand. So when they try to throw an EV out there, something that they're not known for, they have to lean on familiarity with regards to like Ford buyers. right? They can't just go radical, dude. Like, you know, they just simply can't. And that's most certainly the case for all other automotive manufacturers too. So, man, they're just gonna have to step their game up. I think what they should do is create a spinoff company with a whole different name, a whole different vibe, kind of like what Toyota did with Scion some years back.
How did that work out for Scion?
How did it work out for him? It basically got swallowed back up into Toyota. You know, but you know, I think it would work out in the long run with an EV platform a whole lot better than just taking something and calling it a Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I got.
All right. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll be back tomorrow. Just please hit the like button as you exit if you have not already done so. Hit that notification bell so you get all the updates from the Black Brain Trust. It goes on the community tab. Shalom, everyone.